You know what time it is. It's time for that Taizai fucking greatness. Like, straight up Taizai fucking greatness. You wanna know why? Because this entire chapter, before I even dive into any specific detail with this chapter, I just want to tell you right now, this shit was foreshadowed since chapter 29. 20 fucking 9! Dude! Like, seriously, I completely overlooked the foreshadowing. Like, okay, you have it to where Dreyfus is looking at Meliodas' demon symbol on the book, if you look right there. That shit is so subtle. It is just so subtle that anyone would miss that. Any normal average person would miss that. And if it wasn't for the mangaka bringing it up and having a flashback panel to that, I would have not even realized it. So, once again, Nakaba-sensei proving those skills of why he is a badass mangaka, with the foreshadowing, the writing, the setup, and how long he has planned these different arcs. I went back to actually read a lot of different chapters because this chapter in particular is just extremely intriguing because there's so much you can get from this chapter. And looking at the dialogue, it really fucking shocked me. There's a lot of different reasons why. For one thing, okay, besides the foreshadowing, since chapter 29 of Taizai, to Dreyfus being a villain pretty much, and being very suspicious, which anyone would most likely overlook, it goes even further than that. A lot further than that. I want to bring up an actual dialogue line that Dreyfus said on chapter 90. It's chapter 90 or 89 exactly. It's one of those two chapters. When Dreyfus dies, okay? But right before he dies, he punches Hendrickson in the fucking face. And when he does that, he's like, "I do not want to kill you, my friend. Admit your defeat." And what did Hendrickson say in this chapter, chapter 108? Have I been really defeated by Meliodas? He admits his fucking defeat, and guess who appears? Yeah! It's not just that either. The entire aspect of bringing up how Dreyfus didn't just slip up because he was a fool. I mean, a lot of us, when we read that chapter, even myself included, we were all like, that is one of the most biggest fucking fails of 2014, because to literally slip, fall with your best attack and hit the very person you're trying to protect, that was one of the worst failures I've seen. Like, that failure was just, oh my god. And with this chapter, it is revealed that Dreyfus actually meant to slip. And I went back to the chapter, looked at it, and in the panel right before Dreyfus slips, you will see Dreyfus's eye look at Elizabeth. If you don't believe me, go look. Look at the chapter. It's chapter 89 or 88. It's one of those. Look at that chapter and you'll see for yourself of why I think that this overall has been foreshadowed. You can see for yourself. But anyways, I just want to talk about a couple things real quick, okay? For one thing, at the end of this chapter specifically, my theories I made a long time ago, 15 to 20 chapters back, and even a long time since chapter 70, I said that there is no way in fuck Hendrickson is the main mastermind. He is the main dude pulling the strings. And with this plot twist, Dreyfus is revealed to be the main, manipulator. He is the real mastermind. But still, even from this chapter, there's a lot more questions that arise. A lot of more questions. Like, I still don't believe Dreyfus is really the main mastermind, because Dreyfus right now, his entire angle, from what I can understand, is he wants to open up, the portal to summon and release the Demon Tribe or the Demon Clan once again. And why would Dreyfus manipulate Hendrickson? Like, I want to go in deep and talk about this, but I mean, the only reason why I would say Dreyfus would want to do something like this is if he wants to, like, free someone like his master from the abyss that was said at the end of this chapter. So maybe Dreyfus is like a lackey, like a subordinate, and he is just wanting to free his master that has been locked up. And he's just been using Hendrickson like a fucking puppet. So, that right there, just like, it blows your mind away when you start thinking about that. So, to find out that Dreyfus honestly turned into a villain too, and has most likely been manipulating Hendrickson since the very beginning. Well, it's actually obvious he's been manipulating him, and then Dreyfus is most likely getting manipulated. it just raises a lot of questions, a lot of eyebrows. But here's the thing, okay? With the Chapter 2, and specifically, Hendrickson actually accomplishes his in-game goal. He accomplishes it. He actually opened up the abyss to where he can revive the Demon Clan. So, the villain technically won in this aspect. The villain definitely won. So, the Demon Clan is being revived at the end of this chapter. So, all hell is about to fucking break loose. So, a lot of things are being set up with this chapter. Like, I don't even know what the hell is gonna fucking happen after this, because, I mean, with the end of this chapter, with Dreyfus revealing that he is a demon, with the demon symbol on his face, it's a completely different demon symbol, too. I mean, if you look at his face, it's a different demon symbol. If you look at Meliodas' demon symbol, it's something completely different. Like, if you look at the page, chapter 29, or, you know, the chapter that showed in this, like, the different panel, pretty much Meliodas' symbol is different from Dreyfus at the end, and so it makes me believe and think that maybe Dreyfus is a different, you know, demon tribe or clan. Because we have found out that there is the, you know, the red demons, the gray demons. We don't know necessarily what Meliodas is, and so it makes me think that the different symbols on different demons represent their clan. So maybe Meliodas' clan is a different demon clan, you know, since Dreyfus has that different symbol, that means that represents whatever clan he is a part of. So you get what I'm saying. We do know that there's different clans and different factions, and there's a lot of different ways that this can have a lot of world building to it when it comes to Taizai. But the thing is why didn't Dreyfus know about Meliodas' mark? Like, I mean, the big question is, why did Dreyfus look up his mark on chapter 29? I mean, if Dreyfus was a demon, and if he was a different clan, like, for instance, if the mark does represent a different demon clan, why would he need to look up Meliodas' symbol, too? That raises a lot of questions, too. Like, why would he look up Meliodas' clan, if that was symbolizing that, if he was already a demon himself? He should already know this information, unless there's something else that that symbol signifies. So, yeah. Now, one thing, though, I want to say, is that the entire aspect with how the angle with Galther and Dreyfus is now. That entire fight with Galther and Dreyfus is very, very questionable now, because we do know Galther won that fight with the power of the Mino, that Galther used, you know, his power. But that also brings up a lot of mysteries, because Dreyfus technically lost in that aspect. He lost from what we saw. I have yet to go read it. I only read it once when I was actually trying to catch up with Taizai, so I'll definitely have to go back and actually read that scene again. But from what I remember, Galther just wrecked Dreyfus, and so is the reason why Galther is acting so different in these recent chapters, like, for instance, you know, how he was manipulating Gira, and, you know, how Gira wasn't going to go see her little brother? Is it because of whatever Dreyfus did to Galther? Is that why his personality is changing? And also, another question is, too, Merlin last chapter talked about some, you know, crazy dialogue. For instance, like, stuff that usually has no meaning, if you look closely, you will eventually find meaning. That's pretty much what Merlin said last chapter, and it implies with this chapter that Merlin knows that Dreyfus was a demon. That's what it implies, too. So, very, very suspicious. Very suspicious. So, Merlin might know that Dreyfus was a demon, because, I mean, if Merlin did make Galther, like, you know, we've all theorized, that would also pretty much mean that Merlin might know if Galther was tampered with. If, you know, Dreyfus did mess with Galther. So, yeah. Just the chapter overall, just, it's compelling. Very fucking compelling, and it makes you really think. It's making my brain process so much right now, because the overall foreshadowing the greatness of this chapter is unimaginable. Okay, so I want to bring up a couple more things, actually. What I found very interesting is, when I went to chapter 90 of Taizai, and I looked at the final panel of Dreyfus, okay? You can go see for yourself. Go look for yourself if you don't believe me. Look at the final panel that Dreyfus's face is shown before it supposedly turns into ash by Hendy's acid down technique. You will see Dreyfus's left eye covered by smoke. And if you look at the final page of this recent chapter, what eye has the demon symbol on it? The left eye. I find it very strange how the mangaka blocked that eye with smoke and stuff on the last panel before supposedly Dreyfus died in our eyes. So, once again, more foreshadowing. And the overall flashback, or whatever that was that we saw in the valley, like in the Cannon Valley or whatever, when Hendy was reviving, I had to reread that overall segment a couple times to really get a full grasp of it, and after thinking about it and thinking about the previous, chapters when I was rereading last week, Hendrickson, as we know, was a druid of the forest. He only revealed this in a slight little dialogue bubble. It was never really dived into. It's never really went in depth with. We don't know necessarily what he was really doing, but he was the druid of the forest. And from whatever he was doing, when he was actually seeing Dreyfus in this chapter, he said he was in like an endless forest. Hindi actually says that, and that instantly makes me think that maybe whatever this is going on in this chapter, that necessarily wasn't really what was going on, but necessarily that's what happened in the past, when maybe Hindi first got corrupted and turned into a demon. Because we did clearly see Dreyfus give some of his blood to Hindi, and we do know what demon blood does to people. It gives them power-ups, and necessarily I've never seen demon blood actually be able to heal somebody, which is pretty fucking shocking. The only blood I would think that could actually heal somebody would be, Goddess Clan, or, Apostle-type blood from a Goddess Clan to be able to heal someone. So, don't know necessarily how Hindi got healed by Dreyfus if he was a demon, but nonetheless, the point is, we do know you turn more into like a demon if you have their blood, and so that overall flashback makes me think that was just a flashback. Hindi was remembering that, and Dreyfus kind of did something similar once again to revive him. So, that's my overall theory right there. So I think that's pretty much everything I need to cover about this chapter of Taizai. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Are you as shocked as I am? I can't rate this chapter because it's just so damn good. It is way too damn good. But tell me your thoughts. How do you feel about the foreshadowing? How do you feel about the setup? I love you. Please be safe. Chibi out.